Hello, welcome to Straight Talk Africa, live from the Voice of America studios in Washington. It's Wednesday, April 13th. I am Shaka Sali.
Happy Wednesday, Shaka, and hello to all our viewers and listeners on the continent and elsewhere. I'm Ayen Bior, your social media reporter.
Today, we'll talk about the International Criminal Court and the fate of the 2007 victims of the post-election violence in Kenya.
And coming up later in our STA inbox, our audience has weighed in on our topic through your emails and Facebook comments, and we'll reveal some of them ahead on Straight Talk Africa.
The International Criminal Court has thrown out the cases against the Kenyan Deputy President William Ruto and the journalist Joshua Arap Sang. They faced allegations of involvement in the 2007 post-election violence. My colleague Esther Githui-Ewart has more on the story.
It was a grueling 6 years for William Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang. On December 15, 2010, former ICC prosecutor Moreno Ocampo asked the ICC to issue summonses against 6 Kenyans for alleged crimes committed during the 2007-2008 post-election violence. More than 1,000 people died. Over 3,500 were injured and more than 600,000 were displaced. When Ocampo retired, the cases were handed over to current ICC Chief Prosecutor Fatou Bensouda. Charges against 4 of the accused, that included President Uhuru Kenyatta, were terminated. After years of back-and-forth travel between Kenya and The Hague, the court finally terminated the case against the last 2. ICC spokesman Fadi Abdullah read the much-awaited court decision.
By majority, with Judge Herrera Karbucha dissenting, that the case against William Samoei Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang is to be terminated.
For Deputy President William Ruto and journalist Joshua Sang, their families and supporters, it was jubilation. In Ruto's rural town of Eldoret, street celebrations broke out.
The case against me and Joshua Sang collapsed and was terminated. The only reason why the case collapsed is because we are innocent.
There were mixed reactions, however, following the termination of the case from lawyers and human rights activists. ICC representative and victims' lawyer Wilfred Nderito said it was a disappointment to the victims of violence, but the decision must be respected.
It's a decision that we must respect. Of course, there is no doubt that it will come as a disappointment to victims.
Tom Maliti, a trial monitor at International Justice Monitor, also expressed concern for the victims of the post-election violence.
This decision is obviously disappointing to victims. The fact that it has reached this stage means that for victims, there's very little else left for them.
ICC charges against 6 Kenyans shook the country. Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta's case was dropped in 2014, and the country has put up a spirited fight to get out of ICC membership and vigorously persuaded other African Union members to pull out of the ICC. Some AU members have backed Kenya in this quest, saying the court unfairly targets Africans. Among other ICC high-profile cases involving Africans is that of former Ivory Coast President Laurent Gbagbo and his wife Simeon Gbagbo. In July 2008, the ICC issued an arrest warrant for the Sudanese President Omar Hassan al-Bashir for crimes committed against humanity in the country's Darfur region. The Democratic Republic of Congo also had several rebel leaders face criminal charges at the ICC, among them Jean-Pierre Bemba, Bosco Ntaganda, Jermaine Katanga, and Thomas Lubanga. Uganda's rebel Dominic Ongwen is facing charges at the ICC. On Monday, members of the AU Open-Ended Ministerial Committee on ICC agreed the ICC statute should be amended to give immunity to sitting heads of state and senior government officials. The AU statement said the meeting unanimously resolved that the journey for reforming the ICC mode of operation was not over until African countries regained their dignity, independence, and sovereignty. About 1/3 of the court's member states are in Africa. The key question, however, remains, who will bring justice to Africa's victims of conflict? Does the continent have a solid system of justice? Esther Githui-Ewart, VOA News, Washington.